Welcome back to Crypto Analytica.
Mm-hmm.
As always, if you're enjoying this deep dive, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to our channel. We have lots more great content coming for you. Today we're diving into a question that we know is on the minds of a lot of seasoned crypto investors. Where to put your money in the 2024-2025 bull run? Solana or Ethereum? To break it all down, I'll be making the case for Ethereum.
And I'll be here to, put forward the argument for Solana.
We're going to be using data from the research that, we've been provided. And by the end of this, one of us will concede based, purely on the evidence that we present.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, both platforms have some really compelling arguments. So let's dig into the data and see what comes out.
Right. Yeah. So let's start with Ethereum. I mean, even with all these other blockchains coming out, Ethereum's still like the cornerstone of the crypto world. 5 altcoins to buy before 2025 as Bitcoin tops $105,000. That report, talks about how Ethereum is still the leading platform for blockchain infrastructure.
Right.
With this very mature ecosystem, tons of developers, projects love it.
Yeah, Ethereum's legacy is pretty impressive. But, we got to see if that, really translates to future potential because things move so fast in this space.
Yeah.
One key metric I think to think about here is the total value locked, or TVL. It's basically the total amount of crypto that's locked up in all these DeFi protocols on a particular blockchain.
Okay.
And, according to Ethereum versus Solana, a battle for smart contract supremacy, Ethereum's TVL right now is over $50 billion.
Wow.
Which just dwarfs Solana's $3.5 billion.
Okay.
So you can see right there that there's a lot more trust and adoption, happening on Ethereum in that decentralized finance world.
Yeah. I mean, that TVL dominance.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
But, it's not just about DeFi.
Yeah.
I mean, Ethereum has like a zillion dApps, right? Spanning like all these different sectors. And it makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like it generates huge revenue, which shows how financially strong it is.
Yeah.
And, its dominance in the market. Ethereum versus Solana. Which blockchain will lead in the long run?
Yeah.
They point this out pretty clearly. We're talking about, a platform that's like entrenched, deeply entrenched.
Yeah.
And bringing real world value.
Yeah. But while Ethereum's, very broad, you can't argue with that, Solana is also attracting a lot of projects, particularly those that, are looking for speed and cost efficiency.
Yeah.
Solana is always, ranking up there with the top blockchains when you look at things like daily active users, transaction volumes.
Yeah.
It's just, so much more affordable. So it's really attractive for those applications that need like frequent transactions and, low value transactions. So things like gaming, micropayments. Stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good point. Let's look at, how the market has been doing recently.
Okay.
I mean, Bitcoin hit those record highs in 2024.
Yep.
Ethereum went up too. Almost hit $4,000.
Wow.
Solana versus Ethereum. Will Solana overtake Ethereum in 2024?
Yeah.
They talk about this. And that correlation suggests that ETH, it's still benefiting from, the whole crypto market being bullish. It's kind of like a bellwether for the whole sector.
That's interesting. Well, Solana's price has also been doing pretty well in 2024.
Yeah.
We've seen some pretty impressive upward momentum, even when, the market's been a bit shaky. But what's really interesting is that it's not just hype driving Solana's price. Ethereum versus Solana. Which blockchain will lead in the long run? Points out that Solana's got some really strong community support. Like they've got a staking participation rate of 65.7%. That's a lot of the tokens that are out there. So that means, a big chunk of SOL holders are actively involved. They're helping to secure the network, and they're earning rewards. So to me, that level of engagement shows real confidence in Solana's future.
Yeah. I mean, Ethereum's staking participation is lower,
Yeah.
like 27.8%.
Yeah.
But it's still a lot, especially with all the ETH that's held by those long-term investors and institutions. So Ethereum's size and, just the diverse people in its community, those are still major strengths.
Yeah. But I think we have to talk about a big challenge that Ethereum is facing. Those high gas fees and slow transaction times. Ethereum versus Solana. Which blockchain will lead in the long run? They bring this up too, especially compared to Solana. This is something that users and developers really care about. I mean, who doesn't want things to be fast and cheap?
Right. It's true. I mean, Ethereum has gotten a lot of, criticism for those high fees. But that's kind of the price you pay for having such strong security and decentralization,
Yeah.
which are like super important when you're dealing with all these high-value applications and assets.
Yeah, that's true. But Solana isn't sacrificing security for speed. Like, it's got this hybrid consensus mechanism. It combines proof of stake with its own special thing called proof of history.
I
So you
was,
get both high throughput and, strong security. Think of it like a highway.
okay.
Ethereum's like a highway that's always jammed, and the tolls are expensive. Solana, with its proof of history, it's like this super highway, multiple lanes, and the tolls are cheap, so it can handle a lot more traffic.
Okay, I see. So proof of history, that's a new approach.
Yeah.
But it has, gotten some scrutiny. People wonder, will it work long term? Are there hidden vulnerabilities? We don't know yet.
Mm.
Ethereum uses, those more proven consensus mechanisms like proof of work and now proof of stake.
Yeah.
So it has this long history of security, which is hard to beat, at least right now.
Yeah. But, Solana's real-world performance speaks for itself. Solana versus Ethereum. Will Solana overtake Ethereum in 2024? They talk about how its price has been climbing throughout 2024,
Yeah.
even when the market was a bit crazy. And that shows that people are using it more and investors are getting more confident in it.
Yeah. Ethereum was pretty resilient in 2024, too, like surging towards $4,000. And then, those spot Ethereum ETFs got approved. That brought in a flood of institutional investment, which made ETH even more of a blue-chip asset in crypto. Ethereum versus Solana? Which is better in 2025? Explains how that decision back in May 2024 brought in all this money from traditional finance and made ETH seem more legit to those big investors.
Yeah, that was a big deal. But those institutions, they're starting to notice Solana too.
Interesting.
They're really interested in how fast and cheap it is, especially for certain applications where you need things to be, super efficient.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to focus on Solana specifically now and really dive into what makes it such a potentially great investment for this bull run. Okay, so let's talk about why Solana is making so many investors excited. Ethereum versus Solana. Which blockchain will lead in the long run? Has a really good breakdown of Solana's biggest advantages, speed and cost. We're talking like transactions finalized in 5 seconds and an average gas fee of just 0.02221 dollars. Think about that. On Ethereum, the average gas fee is almost $9, and you have to wait like 15 minutes for a transaction to go through, so that's a huge difference. And it's a big reason why so many people are choosing Solana.
Yeah, that's really where Solana shines. It solves a big problem in blockchain, making transactions fast and cheap. And that changes everything. Think about the kinds of things you can do when transactions are instant and almost free. Microtransactions, in-game purchases, all those use cases where you need things to happen quickly and without breaking the bank. That's what Solana enables.
Yeah, speed and cost are important. But some people might say, hey, you shouldn't sacrifice security or decentralization to get them. And Ethereum's higher fees are partly because of its strong security and its more decentralized network. And, those are things that big investors especially really care about.
Right. But Solana doesn't sacrifice security to get that speed. It's got that hybrid consensus mechanism, proof of stake combined with proof of history. That's designed to make sure you have high throughput and security at the same time. The proof of history part is really interesting. It's like putting a timestamp on every transaction. So you have a verifiable order of events. And that means the validators don't have to check with each other all the time, which makes things way faster.
Yeah, that proof of history thing is pretty cool. It's just, it's pretty new. So some people are worried that maybe there are vulnerabilities we don't know about yet. Ethereum's been around for a while, using proof of work and now proof of stake. So it has this proven track record of being secure. And that's hard to argue with.
Yeah, it takes time for any new tech to earn people's trust. But Solana's developers are really good. They're always working to fix any problems and make the network more secure. And so far, Solana's been really impressive. It's been up and running and it hasn't been hacked. So that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So let's talk about community and ecosystem. Ethereum versus Solana. Which blockchain will lead in the long run? Makes a big deal about how much support Solana has from its community and how many people are staking their SOL. What's really interesting is that people aren't just staking because the rewards are good. They're doing it because they believe in Solana and they want to be a part of it. They want to help make it secure. And that's really powerful.
Yeah, exactly. When so many people are actively staking their tokens, it makes the network more secure and decentralized. And it creates this feeling of ownership and alignment, like we're all in this together. And that's really important for the long-term success of any blockchain. So Solana's strong community, that's one of the things that makes it really special.
Yeah. And Ethereum's community is massive and diverse. and they played a huge role in its success. They're known for being technical, passionate about decentralization, and they always come together to support important changes, the switch to proof of stake. So that's a big advantage for Ethereum.
Yeah. But we also have to talk about some of the challenges Solana's faced, especially its connection to FTX and Alameda Research. Solana versus Ethereum. A detailed blockchain comparison talks about how those ties raised concerns about whether Solana was centralized and, potential vulnerabilities, especially after FTX collapsed. That definitely shook people's confidence.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The FTX thing had a huge impact on the whole crypto world, and Solana definitely felt it. So it's important to understand how they've responded to all that and what they're doing to prevent, future risks.
Well, they've been pretty proactive. Ethereum versus Solana, which is better in 2025. Talks about some of the steps they've taken to make the network more decentralized and resilient. They're developing Firedancer, which is a second validator client. That's a big move to make sure they don't rely on just one thing. They've also adopted the QUIC protocol, which makes communication between nodes way better. And that improves the whole network stability. So those are pretty clear signs that they're serious about decentralization and long-term sustainability.
Yeah, that's good to hear. But it takes time to rebuild trust after something like that happens. And Ethereum has always been really decentralized.
Yep.
Which is one of its strengths and something investors like.
That's true. But Solana's being really transparent about how they're developing the platform, and they're committed to addressing those past problems, and I think people are starting to respect that. So let's talk about price predictions now. That's something that people always like to think about.
Yeah, price predictions can be fun, but, we're seasoned investors here. We know that you got to take them with a grain of salt. Crypto is volatile. Even the best projects can have crazy price swings.
Yeah, for sure. They're not guarantees. But they do give you a sense of, how the market's feeling and what people are expecting. And when it comes to Solana, those expectations are really positive. Solana versus Ethereum, will Solana overtake Ethereum in 2024? And Solana SOL, price prediction 2025. They both talk about how analysts are really bullish on SOL. Some people are saying it could hit $270 or even $330. And that's not just hype. It's because they believe in Solana's technology and its potential to, solve real problems.
Yeah, and Ethereum's got some bullish price predictions too, because it's already so established. And there's all this institutional money coming in.
Yeah.
And they're always making improvements to the ecosystem. So both platforms have some good arguments. But before we wrap up, let's give each other a chance to respond to some of those points.
You mentioned Ethereum having so many dApps, and it's true they have a head start, but Solana is catching up fast. Solana versus Ethereum. A detailed blockchain comparison talks about how Solana uses Rust, which is a programming language known for being fast and secure. And when you combine that with Solana's low fees, it's like a magnet for developers. We're seeing all these innovative projects choosing Solana, especially in DeFi gaming, NFTs, things where performance is really important.
Yeah, you're right. Solana's attracting a lot of talent and new projects. But Ethereum still has the biggest and most mature developer community out there. And that experience and talent pool, a big advantage. Ethereum also has the network effect going for it. With more users and dApps, you get more liquidity, things work together better, and the whole ecosystem is just richer. So it's easier for new projects to join in and take off.
Yeah, the network effect is real, but it's not like, an unbreakable wall. Solana is working hard to build its own ecosystem. They've got grants, hackathons, all kinds of programs to get developers excited and encourage innovation. And the growth we've seen in the Solana ecosystem in such a short time is pretty amazing. As more people experience how fast and cheap Solana is, that network effect is going to keep growing.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to go back to something we talked about before. Ethereum moving to proof of stake and those layer 2 solutions like Arbitrum and Optimism. Those are designed to fix the things that Solana is already good at, scalability and transaction costs. Ethereum versus Solana. Which blockchain will lead in the long run says that those solutions are already showing that they can make Ethereum faster and cheaper.
Yeah, those layer 2 solutions are helping, but they also make things more complicated, and they could create new problems. Solana's approach to scalability is different. It's built into the blockchain from the ground up, so that efficiency is probably going to be a big advantage even when Ethereum gets its scaling solutions working.
Yeah, you've made some good points. Both platforms have a lot going for them, but looking at all the evidence, I think I have to admit that for this particular bull run, Solana looks like the better investment. It's fast, it's cheap, and its ecosystem is growing like crazy. So it's in a good position to grab a big chunk of that market growth.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. Ethereum's still a major player, but Solana's got all this momentum and those unique advantages. So yeah, right now it looks like it has the edge.
So just to recap, what were the biggest things that led to this conclusion? Well, Solana's fees are way lower and transactions are way faster. That's a big deal for everyone. And they've got a really active development community that's committed to fixing problems and moving forward. Plus all those positive price predictions and the fact that investors are so confident in Solana, it all points to continued growth and, maybe even changing the whole game.
Yeah, exactly. But it's important to remember that crypto is unpredictable. Things can change really fast, so you always have to do your research, think about how much risk you're comfortable with, and make sure your investments align with your financial goals.
Definitely. We encourage you to check out the official websites for Solana and Ethereum, do some research on those reputable platforms, and really dig into the details of each one before you make any decisions.
And we always love hearing from you guys. What do you think? Do you agree with us? Which platform do you think has more potential in the long run? Tell us in the comments.
And before we go, let's leave you with something to think about. Can Solana keep this momentum going and become the dominant player? Or will Ethereum eventually climb back to the top? The blockchain world is changing so fast, and both of these platforms are playing a big role in shaping the future of decentralized technology.
That's a great question. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Solana and Ethereum.
And until next time, happy investing.